Hey everyone, thanks for joining. This is Tanner here. I wanted to talk to you guys about my nighttime routine since yesterday I talked about my morning routine. Now, so for my nighttime, I'd say the nighttime usually starts around dinner time. Me and my wife will get together. We have a list of, we actually made our own like schedule of what we eat, and we plan it out for each week ahead of time so that way we can know exactly what we need at the grocery store and we don't forget anything and we don't overspend as well. And we're actually on a rotation diet. I'm not sure if we talked to you, if I've talked to you about this yet. The rotation diet is important because it allows you to eat different foods each day. So, for instance, if you have chicken one day and you know beans or something, the next day you wouldn't have chicken or beans, and you want to have the chicken and beans for at least 3 days, and then the next day you do like beef, the next day you might do pork, the next day you might do some other kind of meat like buffalo or fish or something. So it's very important to think about that. Rotation diets are great for not only for keeping food more unique and having not getting so tired. If you have chicken every day, not getting tired of chicken. But it's also important to do that because your body, if you eat something, if you expose yourself to it too much, you can actually develop a sensitivity to it. Now, sensitivity is not necessarily an allergy. They can be the same thing. A sensitivity could be something like you start getting gassy or start getting upset stomach or something like that from that food. So I like to do the rotation diet. It keeps things fresh, and me and my wife both plan it. And if you have any leftovers after that day, you just move it on, and on the third day or on the fourth day after, when there's 3 days in between, you can just have the leftovers for lunch, and that's a very easy way to do it. I usually always have those leftovers, so we do it that way. And when we're making dinner together, it gives us time to talk and to enjoy ourselves. If we don't feel like talking, we just do a podcast and listen and try to, benefit our mind and give us good positive influences. As we're making the dinner, we will always clean up dishes as we go. It just makes it so much easier instead of having to do all the dishes after you finish eating. And it feels good to have a clean kitchen as you're cooking. So, one person will be taking the role on cooking, one person cleaning, or we do a little mix of both. I'm usually the one who's cutting up things most of the time. My wife is the one who's doing the baking or cooking. She is amazing at baking and cooking, by the way. She just made some great bread the other day and cookies, and it's kind of dangerous, her baking sometimes, because it tastes way too good. So, now, we always prefer to cook our own food. Sometimes we will go eat out, but the majority of time we will make our own food. The reason why is you know exactly what's in your food, what additives, what seasoning, all that kind of stuff. We know what quality the food that we're getting is. And for us, that's very important. What you feed your body is really affects your day-to-day actions and can affect your brain. If you don't have the right nutrients in your body, then your body won't operate the correct way and your brain can't operate the correct way. So it's important to get the right nutrients and the right food in your body. And also, yesterday with the video about my morning routine, I mentioned the muscle testing. I'll have to do a future video about showing you guys that muscle testing. Now, for the muscle testing, I also ask myself what we want to eat, or ask yourselves how much we want to eat, because that can be very important too. Your body knows what it wants, and if you find a way to ask it, then it can be very helpful to yourselves. And we've tested this out. When we ask our bodies if it doesn't want something, we have it anyways. We'll log our symptoms and how we feel, and we notice that we start to get symptoms that are painful or bloating or something that makes us uncomfortable. And then when we listen to the body, we don't have those same symptoms. So it's very important to find a way to talk to yourself and listen to yourself, and your body knows exactly what it wants. And after dinner time, we will watch a TV show. Now, we have been limiting ourselves on TV shows. We used to watch way more TV shows. Usually we just watch like one episode, maybe two. And the reason why we're limiting ourselves on the TV show, and I've talked about this in previous videos, is the TV shows and movies and things like that are actually influencing your subconscious mind and making new programs in it. And the more familiar you make negative things in your subconscious mind, the more you're going to be drawn to it. So something that's important to know is that your subconscious mind is always listening, it's always watching, and it's actually listening and watching a lot more than your conscious mind is. So our conscious mind can only absorb so much information, and your subconscious mind can handle way more information. It's looking at every little aspect of things, just seeing what's the safest card it can play, how it can keep you the most safe inside the herd or the tribe that you're in. And it will consider the TV shows and movies as part of your tribe, because you can't tell the difference between fiction and reality. So if it's seeing something, it considers it real life. Now, after the TV shows, we will either go on a walk or we will go out and we will, we'll either go on a walk, get the digestion going and walking or get some fresh air, or we will do our course with Mind Valley. Mind Valley is a very cool website and company. They get the best of the best in their fields, and they make a little course for you that you can take it. Usually it's like a 30-day program, so you can actually learn the information and absorb it into yourself. They do cost money. They have free master classes so you can get like the essence of what the course is. Excuse me. And so we've done a couple courses with them already. We like it a lot. We did the year-long one, so we can just do as much as we want, because we want to be able to learn, have new learnings every day, and flex and work out our muscles as the same way we're working out our brain muscles is the same way as we're working out our other muscles in our body. So the one we're doing right now is called Super Brain with Jim Quick. He is an extremely smart man. He had a learning disability actually to begin with, and he taught himself, and now he has an extraordinary memory, something that many people wouldn't believe he would have been able to do, since considering he had a learning disability. Now his memory is actually much better than the majority of people in the world, and it's because he actively works on his memory, and it's something that you can make stronger, kind of just like working out your muscles. You can make yourself stronger, you make your brain stronger, and you're going to allow yourself to learn more. And he makes the course very fun. So after we do that course, me and my wife Maddie will actually do some of the learnings from it, and we always enjoy doing those together. It's important to share that information, because teaching that or sharing it with someone else helps you learn it twice in a row. And then we'll do some nighttime preparation, trying to get ready for bed. So we'll do our brushing our teeth, we'll wash our face. I usually will brush my hair. Now I usually if I don't brush my hair almost every day, then I'll start getting dry scalp. Just something that happens to me. I think it might happen to a decent amount of men in the world. And so after that point, and actually usually something to note, when we're brushing our teeth, in the morning we'll use the opposite hand. Something we learned from Superbrain is that when you're brushing your teeth with the opposite hand, you will actually be creating new neural pathways to your brain and help increase your brain capacity. So doing things with the opposite hand or switching things up every now and then is very important to increasing your brain capacity and just overall improving your health and your full capacity and your best asset, which is your mind. So after that point, we will, and actually during this, we'll either be talking to each other or we will do our affirmations. And what we like to do before we start brushing our teeth is to put our phones into airplane mode. We don't want any distractions. We don't want to be looking at a screen, because looking at a screen is actually detrimental to your sleep. So the blue light can actually produce I believe it's serotonin in your brain, which just helps you wake up. You want to be producing melatonin, and it can actually inhibit melatonin and make it so it's harder for you to actually get that into that deep sleep. So it's really important not to watch any TV shows or look at your phone for at least an hour. Some people recommend 2 hours, but I know that's really hard for a lot of people. So if you can limit to at least an hour before you go to bed and just try to limit that screen time, I think you'll notice a big change in your sleep patterns. And then also we will unplug our Wi-Fi so we don't have any Wi-Fi signals going through, because that can also affect your sleep patterns as well. So once we get to that point, once we're done with all of our affirmations that we speak about, and my affirmation I went over yesterday, I'm going to touch base on it real quick because I think it's very important. So they're positive self-talk, essentially. I have a mantra that I've learned from this book right here, The Big Leap, with Gay Hendricks. If you haven't read it, I think it's very important. It's a psychology book. Helps you understand, self-sabotage. He calls it upper limit problems. But it's essentially the same thing was what he talks about in here. So it's very helpful information there. My mantra is, I expand in abundance of love, energy, wealth, health, success, intellect, confidence, and spirituality every day as I inspire others around me to do the same. Now you can always change up yours to be something that you'd like. Gay Hendricks actually had one that was pretty similar to that, and I just kind of added on, and it worked well with me because my goal in life is to make everyone else's lives around me better. And since I've felt how much the changes I've done in my life have helped my life and made me just enjoy life more, I wanted to share that with everyone else and show them how their mind works and how they can overcome self-sabotage and to achieve their dreams and goals. So after that point, after we say all the affirmations and everything, we'll turn off the light. Now, usually we avoid having bright lights on as well as during that time, so that can affect your melatonin production. And we have a salt lamp, which is at a better light. It's much dimmer, and it's good for falling asleep. It's kind of like a candle, kind of close to that. We do sleep with fans on. I know fans can dry you out, but the sound just really helps us kind of stay in our deep sleep instead of waking up to sounds. And something else we do at night before once we're going to bed is I will play a hypnotherapy recording from Marissa Peer. She's one of the top hypnotherapy people in the world, or hypnotherapists in the world. She is extremely smart and found a method to reprogram your mind through hypnotherapy. Now, you can either do this during the day or at nighttime. Me and my wife like to listen to it at night. And so it helps you go into a theta state, which is hypnosis state. And she says things that will help you reprogram your mind and create new programs that promote health and wealth and relationships, depending on which one you're listening to. That's also a course on Mind Valley that me and my wife already have done, and we continue listening to the recordings because we really enjoy them, and we see them as helping us. We've noticed a difference. So, also something important to note, as you're doing the reprogramming, your brain is actually going to theta state as you're falling asleep. It switches between different brain waves, and in the middle of that is theta, and it will pass through there as you're falling asleep. And as you're waking up, it will do the same thing. So that is why a lot of people listen to recordings as they fall asleep, because their brain will be in the hypnosis state and will be able to absorb it much more easily at that point than compared to repetition. Repetition will help, it just takes a little bit longer to do it through that way. So that is our nighttime schedule. That's what me and my wife do to go to bed, and that's our routine. If you guys have any other things you guys do for your routines, feel free to let them know in the comments. I know someone might be mentioning journaling. Journaling is very important, and so it's something me and my wife are trying to get into more. Also, eventually we want to replace our TV watching with reading a book. so we can increase the amount we're learning and reduce screen time before we go to bed. Tomorrow I'm going to be planning on making a video about my dog Sadie and what we do to make her life better, and what we do do with her food, and just all around what we do with our dog Sadie to keep her alive as long as possible and make sure she's as healthy as possible as well. Well, thanks for listening, guys. This is Tanner once again. I appreciate you taking the time, and have a great day.